Welcome. If you're a podcaster, thought leader, and or business owner, this video is just for you because we're going to be talking about the 90-day challenge that I'm going to be starting, and I want to bring you all along with me so that way I can document the process, I can talk about the lessons I've learned, and in addition to that, I can either talk about the failures and or the success. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure you hit that follow button. My name is Terryl Humphrey, and I'm the host of the Phase Knowledge Podcast. And let's go ahead and get into it. The reason why I'm deciding to do another 90-day challenge to grow a podcast production business is because I have a basic understanding of what I'm doing. And by basic understanding, over the last half a decade, I've been putting together the process, the system, the way of to podcast, so that way I can help other podcasters grow their audience even faster. Why is this important? It's important because I had to learn the business that I was in. The business that I was in is not just content creation. The business that I'm in is not just a people business. The business that I'm in is connecting the stories on a platform. Why? Because the stories is the most important thing that people connect with. And here's the secret that I want to share with you. Like, the reason I want to do this podcast this 90-day challenge to grow a podcast production company is because I want to document the process. I want to share the story. I want to share the lessons. And in addition to that, I want to encourage you to start your dreams, to start pursuing your goals. And just know that it can be done if you're willing to work towards it. And this goal is going to actually demonstrate the work that I'm doing, the behind the scenes, what's going on, the interviews that I'm going to be doing, the people I'm going to be reaching out to, how I'm going to be marketing myself. I'm going to be talking about everything, and I'm going to I'm going to take the what is called. I'm going to bring you all along the journey so that way you can see that it's possible to accomplish your goals. So let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. Excuse me. So first thing first, the reason why I want to start this is to build a podcast production business. So, and by the way, this will be my seventh attempt to do this. But here's the thing. Here's the secret ingredient of why I wanted to share this. It's not the fact that I've tried to do this challenge 7 different times. It's more so that every time I try to do the challenge, I gain a new perspective of how to do the podcast production business. It's not just about the podcast. It's not just about the production. It's literally giving you peace of mind throughout your podcast, so that way your podcast can stay consistent. It can reach more of your ideal customers. In addition to that, it can really make an impact if you stay consistent with it. Over the years, I started to understand the importance of consistency. Now that I'm consistent and I have the creative side of everything, the business side has to come into account for, which means that I have to learn how to market even more, have to sell even more, have to work with more people even more, have to ask for the money or always be closing even more. Why? Because if I want to have a business, I have to learn to ask for something in that way where I can literally give a service. That is going to change the game, because I'm no longer second guessing what I'm doing, because over the last half a decade, I've been putting together the pieces to demonstrate how to do it. And now that everything is coming together, this 90-day challenge is going to be different, because it's something that's going to really challenge me. It's going to really push me. In addition to that, as I'm talking about everything that I'm doing, the work that I'm doing will actually be demonstrated even more. So the podcast business, the podcast production business is more so of really helping podcasters have a peace of mind so their podcast can grow their audience. So with this, right, this is me. I'm going to put FIK. And right underneath it, I'm going to put system. The system is what's going to help me stay consistent and help other podcasters stay consistent with their podcasts as well. Why? Because the system had to be developed. The system had to be built. The system had to be established. But check this out. I had to be the one to establish it. And over the years, I'm like, man, why is it so hard? Why am I not able to close so many deals? I'm like, yeah, I can have a lot of different conversations, but it's like, yeah, okay, how can I position myself differently? Now, what I'm going to start doing is whenever I do an interview, like right after, not necessarily right after, but throughout the communication, I'm going to share what we're doing. So that way, as I'm sharing it, I'm not just sharing it to the guests I'm speaking with. I'm sharing it with my audience in case they want to grow their podcast as well. So everything that I discovered in business, that when you have a business and you're doing the business for yourself first, and then you can go do it for the same person for another person, because you can demonstrate how it works. I'm going to test that theory within this 90-day challenge, because if I'm able to make that happen, if I'm able to accomplish that goal, if I'm able to do that within the next 90 days, I'll be able to make $100,000. I'm not just trying to make $1,000 here, $1,000 there. No. I'm literally trying to make $100,000 in the next 90 days based off the system that has been developed. Now, the challenge is going to come from there is that I have to be consistent. Consistency is not a problem with me. Consistency, showing up every day, it's not a problem with me. That's going to lead to me marketing myself even more. It's going to lead to me communicating with more people. It's going to lead to me following a consistent system, a consistent routine. Why? Because if I want to have a podcast production business, I have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So the main three things I'm going to be focused on this challenge, and now that I have more clarity behind everything, is that I don't want to spread my focus too thin. Three things I'm going to be focused on are podcast, number two, webinars. Oh, that's not how you spell webinar. Hold on. I spelled webinar completely wrong. Number two, webinars. Online training. And three, social media. Bonus following up. Bonus US follow-ups. So here's the thing. The first my first 90-day challenges that I started, I was trying to figure out like what to do. Okay, you see online, there's so many different people that's doing speaking engagement. There's so many different people doing online training. There's so many different people using social media. Like there's so many options to grow business, yet there's so many options to pick one. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I was in this training, the Action Zone training. They help veterans. I launched their business from idea, concept to being profitable. And they mentioned a lot about focus on the low-hanging fruit. And I'm like, what's the low-hanging fruit? I have no idea what the low-hanging fruit is. I think speaking engagements can be the low-hanging fruit. I think going to different locations, different speaking engagements in different cities can be the low-hanging fruit. But then when I start to calculate everything, I'm like, wait, hold on. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up right. It's not adding up right because I'm miscalculating the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit through the podcast is that when people are already reaching out to me, they're reaching out to me because the podcast is consistent. I've had a lot of people reach out to me to get on the Phase Knowledge podcast, and I just wondered, like, where y'all finding me at? Where are y'all listening to me at? Like, where have y'all literally discovered me at? And they tell me, and I'm like, what if I double down on the podcast? What if I double down on helping podcasters grow their audience? What if I just focus on this one thing? If I'm able to do this one thing effectively, I can help podcasters efficiently because now I'm helping myself. And when I'm able to help myself, I can help other podcasters like you. That blew my mind. It blew my mind because it was something that I was searching for. It was something I was looking for. It was something that gave me the confidence to know that I can help other podcasters grow their audience because I'm doing it myself. We're not helping you by the way we're not helping ourselves. We're helping you from the way we help ourselves. And this is a major shift because it's no longer me guessing anymore. The reason why I failed my first attempt of the 90-day challenge grow podcast business, I made $217, but I had to invest it back to the business around, and it was left around $10 and some change. I was trying to figure out how to go about building a podcast business. During that time, I was like, a business, a podcast business or whatnot. So then I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I kept second guessing myself. I was unsure. I was doubtful. I was trying to figure it out. And although I stayed consistent throughout the 90 days and finished the challenge, it was like, well, yes, I learned more, but I didn't hit my goal. Nowhere near it. Second, third, fourth, all the way up to the sixth time, I had the idea, but I still had doubt because it's like, man, this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work, but is it going to work? And I was trying to figure out. Then I go to different mentors, go seek guidance, and I receive help, go get education. As I'm receiving the knowledge is, I'm receiving it, but I'm like, how do I apply it? How do I apply it? I started to recognize that the people that was reaching out to me to get onto the podcast, I have a template. Let's just say a template. I have a way to communicate with people so that way I respond in a fast manner. So wait, you're telling me that if I respond back in a fast manner, I can have more podcast conversations? Hold on. This is the discovery that I want to share with. So the podcast, hold on. Let me bring my screen. The podcast in business, there's a thing called sales process. Okay. So in business, you have a sales process. And, hold on. In business, you have a you have a sales process. Sales process. And throughout this process, it is a presentation. It's education. It's information. I think education and information, same thing. Yeah. Education. Presentation, education. And this is where you answer questions. Answer questions. My thing was, what is I don't even know the questions to answer because I know I'm going to receive some, but I don't know all of them to answer. And the main one I got asked was, well, how do we make money from the podcast? That was one of the main ones. And I'm thinking, man, I don't even know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Because there's ways to do it. You can get sponsorships, you can get affiliates, you can get like so many different ways to do that. But the way I'm going to be helping podcasters grow their audience is to sell what they're doing. If their business is paying, use the podcast to educate their audience. Excuse me. Now, it's the education that makes a difference. When you educate your audience are connected to you because you're helping them. I was in this course and they said that don't tell people you're going to help them. Help them. I think it was through the 10X organization. That was like, don't tell people you're going to help them. Help them. And over the years, I'm trying to figure out how to help people, how to educate people, how to inform people, what questions to answer. But it was so confusing to me. It was like, man, what am I doing? It was so overwhelming to the point where nothing was going in my favor because I kept doubting myself. And it was like, well, if you're going to teach somebody what to do, you have to be doing what you are teaching. And then that's when I was like, oh, it blew my mind. Like many of you, you are good at a thing. Like many of you, I'm not good at teaching that thing. Over the last half a decade, shout out to my wife because she's an educator. She was an educator and she taught me how to teach. And I'm like, I'm trying to, I'm trying to be consistent. I'm trying to stay, out and about. But what I learned is that you have to be willing to educate your audience so your audience can be more confident to take the action that you just taught. And I'm like, what the mess? What the mess? It's kind of like, instead of saying, I'm going to be doing a podcast production, I'm going to be building a podcast production business. Instead of me talking about that, how about I do what I'm talking about so I can teach what I just learned? So I can teach the success, so I can teach the failure, so I can educate my audience to the point where if they want to have a podcast, this is all the work that goes into it. I'm educating my audience. In fact, it just made sense right now. When you are educating your audience, you are building a community. And I'm thinking like, man, how do you build a community? How do you build a business? And it goes hand in hand with everything. The more educated your audience is, the more of a community you have. And I'm like, looking at all the big creators, Mr. Beast, I Show Speed, Casanet, Earn Your Leisure, Joe Budden, Club Shay Shay. They are informing their audience about a topic that they are well versed at. And I'm like, I'm watching all these people, listening to all these people. I'm like, what's the thing that I can offer? When people start to come onto the podcast, the sales process is a short conversation because I can literally talk to you for a whole hour and learn everything about you. Now, why is that important? It's hard to talk to somebody. It's hard to talk to a busy business owner for 60 minutes if you have nothing to offer. But if I have a platform and I'm going to these business owners who are extremely busy and they make the time to speak with me for 60 minutes, I just built the relationship. I just went through the sales process. I just skipped the whole cold calling perspective because I literally just talked to you for 60 minutes. Hold on. When I was in real estate, let's just say this is the house, homeowner right here. Homeowner, you will have to call this person. I don't know the number so many times. It was more than 5 times. You will have to call this person so many times. And I'm like, man, this is really hard. It's difficult because they won't pick up the phone. It's difficult because they didn't answer the phone. It's difficult because they are busy. Hold on. Now, let me translate it into the podcasting world. Podcasting, when you sit down with somebody for 60 minutes and they experience your conversation, they experience your platform, you literally just skip the entire sales process because now y'all know each other. I learned this through a social media digital course with her name is Diane through the Boss Agency, and she say people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And I'm like, how do people know, like, and trust you? I'm trying to figure out. It was like, no. It's not the fact people don't know you. It's more so people are busy to get to know you. Yet if you offer a podcast and they come to your platform for 60 minutes, you literally just skip the entire sales process. And so what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm literally going to be reaching out to people who came on to the Phase Knowledge podcast, but like, hey, like, do you know anybody that's interested in launching their podcast but have no idea where to start? Why? Because they already experienced the podcast. It's not a cold sell anymore. We have that established relationship, and it hit me. That was the thing that I was missing. I didn't really understand how to provide value. I just thought the podcast was like a thing to do. In reality, it's a skill to have because it established a relationship. When the relationship is established, you can literally, I'm talking about literally, speak to anybody. Hold on. Okay. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. And when I joined the Marine Corps, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do in my life, what future I wanted to have, what passion I wanted to create. Although serving the Marine Corps was good, I needed the way to find my passion. So when I was doing that, I learned, I'm like, hey man, let me try this podcast thing. I went to a course, learned it. studied. Shout out to Social Proof Podcast. This is where I learned how to podcast at. And I studied, then I start doing the work. And then I start showing up. Then I start being consistent. Then I'm like, ooh, this is different. When I started, I think I started with my brother, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. But when I started, it was like, all right, cool. I gotta go. I got a plan. Let's see how it works. Just like with this 90-day challenge that I'm doing again. Let's just see what works. Let's just see how it works. So I kept doing it. I'm like, I wonder if I could talk to, back then I was focused on Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to Tim, not my twin brother, but Tim, the one that is in Arkansas. He was doing a lot of things in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm like, I wonder if he would be able to be open to doing a podcast with me. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, listen, I got this podcast and what you're doing in Little Rock, Arkansas is phenomenal, bro. I would love to learn more about your story. He said, yeah. I said, huh? He said, yeah. I said, wait, you just said, yeah. In my mind, I didn't think that was a sales process. I'm just thinking, hey, man, I want to learn about your story. And what this did for me is that it gave me a way to reach out to people. Instead of me asking, hey, bro, do you want to launch your podcast? And a lot of people might not respond. A lot of people might respond. However, because it's the name of business. You have they say sales is the numbers game. The more people you reach out to, the more opportunities you will have. And I'm definitely learning that now. I digress. I reached out to him and I literally had a 60-minute conversation with him. Now, during that time, I was still trying to figure out what I was doing. I didn't understand the business side of everything. I was just focused on like the conversations and the interviews and just the podcast. I wasn't even focused on like how to make money from this, if you can't make money from it or whatever. I literally was like, hey man, I want to learn about your story. I have this, I didn't know it's called platform, but I have this podcast. Can we do it on there? He said, yeah. Okay. Fast forward 5 years ago or later, I started to understand, I'm like, wait, hold on. The fact I just talked to this person for 60 minutes, we built in a relationship, established a relationship. And when I moved back to Little Rock, Arkansas, not half a decade, but when I moved back to Arkansas in 2022, I literally was there to support him based off the relationship that we built. Now, he already knew what he was doing. Like, he already knew what he wanted to do. I'm still in the process of figuring it out because I don't know that this can be a business. Nonetheless, as I'm supporting him, going to different things that he has going on, I'm there because of the relationship through the podcast. If the podcast conversation didn't happen, I wouldn't have supported him that much. Why? Because there's something that happens between a 60-minute conversation. Now that I know or have learned why that's important, 60 minutes can build a relationship because they know you. They know, like a church, they know you, they like you, and they trust you because they just talk to you for 60 minutes. Okay, check this out. Hold on. Now, when I get to the the sales process, it's like, well, what are you selling? How do you make money from your podcast? How do you make money from your podcast? Make money from your podcast. And I spoke about this earlier, and I get this question all the time. And at first I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm starting to figure it out too. Tell me how. It's not the fact that the podcast is not bringing revenue. It's more so that I didn't know how the podcast can create revenue. And so when I started to really understand, like, hold on, this is something that's really important. It's important because it's not just a conversation. It's literally a relationship, an establishment of a relationship. When you go through a sales process, and there's a thing called touch points. There's a thing called touch points, TOUCHPOINTS. And what this is the, let's just say this right here is customer. And let's just say this right here is me. How many times would I have to reach out to this person in order for this person to respond back. I can send, let's just say, I'm just gonna list a few. I can send emails. I can send text messages if they have given me their or if they have opted in a funnel or something like that. Text messages, GES, social media. Let's just say in person. These are all considered touch points, which means how many pieces of content, conversations, phone calls, text messages, email will a customer have to receive before they even come into my world. There's a stat that says, I forgot the stat. That said that a new customer has to consume over 7 hours of your content. 7 hours of your content, which means that the more, which means, hold on. Excuse me. 7. What's going on? Appreciate y'all for joining in. TikTok. We got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, X, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, but X, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for joining. Let me know where y'all chiming in from. The touch points matter because it consists of the amount of times you're reaching out to this person. Okay. Why is that important? See, that's important because everything you do has to communicate with your customer. And 7 hours, like someone has consumed 7 hours of your content, of your presentation, of your whatever the case is, it has to be 7 hours or more. 30 minutes is not going to do it. An hour is not going to do it. But if you continue to show up consistently, this is where I struggled with my first couple of challenges. I stopped showing up. But when you show up consistently, always educating your future customers will come based off you educating them. Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me just move this to the side right quick. Hold on. So in other words, when people, let me come back to the screen. When it takes people 7 hours. I don't know the source of the resource that I got this from, but it takes 7 hours. Oh, no, the 10X movement. They said something about this. And then I got to confirm by doing research. In addition to that, it takes up to 21 touch. Oh, that makes sense. Hold on. Okay. I researched this one. It takes up to 21 different touch points. 7 to 21 touch points. And in other words, you got social media, you got email, you got text, you got podcasts, you got all these different things. You literally have to communicate with your customers a lot. That's what's the thing that I was struggling with because I'm like, well, I don't know what to sell, so why would I communicate with them? It's not the fact that the touch points are not working. Hold on, check this out. It's more so. Hold on, let me come back to the screen. It's not the fact that the touch points are not working. It's more so it's not enough touch points to make it work. And when I saw the shift, I think it was like my third or fourth time of trying to do a podcast, 90-day challenge to go podcast business. It was literally like, okay, I literally got to talking about podcasting every post, and people saying, man, I see you doing your podcast. I want to get on the podcast. How can I learn more about the podcast? People were literally reaching out to me, and I'm like, man, this is overwhelming because I didn't know it was working. People were reaching out, man, I see you talking about podcasts, but do you do music? And I'm like, at this time, I do not, but I only focus on podcasts. But it's the consistency, it's the consistent messaging that focuses on the touch point. The amount of time that I communicate about podcasting, the people who are watching will learn that I do everything about podcasting. And it gave me like some type of like, oh man, I didn't know what it was during the time because it was overwhelming because people was literally reaching out. Hey, I want to learn more about the podcast. Hey, we'll jump on the call. I didn't make no sales. I'm like, man, what do I do wrong? Not knowing, I just needed to sharpen my skills. You know how you in the night in the kitchen and you about to cook and you have a knife and the knife is dull. You can't really cut the vegetables. Well, you got the knife and you get like the little sharper thing, the little thing that you can like grind it against. You grind it against it, right? And the knife that you use to cut your onion, you cut it a lot smoother. You see, when you sharpen your skills, you are sharpening the knife. When you sharpen your skills, you are sharpening your communication. When you sharpen your skills, you are learning the sales process. The more touch points you have, the more customers you will have. And I was like, man, what is going on? And so it's giving me a sense of like, hey man, you've been doing this for some time, but now you know what you're doing. And that's why I wanted to come out here and like, you know what you're doing, so you have to do it more often. Like this is what I'm telling myself, and I'm bringing you all along the journey. Like I want you all to be a part of the journey. Whatever business that you're in, you have to say it every single day, multiple times throughout the day. And the more touch points you have, it takes 7 to 21 touch points. It takes up to 7 hours for someone to actually engage with your content. Nonetheless, when you are able to really position yourself differently, you are educating yourself. Hold on. Oh my goodness. It gave me a sense of relief. Hey, somebody just sent the invite. Hold on. Oh dang, send the invite again. I'm trying to accept it. Somebody sent the invite. Send that invite again. I tried to accept it on TikTok. Nonetheless, I tell you this. The 90-day challenge that I'm doing this time, it's like, well, I'm no longer second guessing myself. It's the light bulb came on. Hold on. The light bulb came on. Hold on. It's like the light switch came on. Hold on. This is me. And I got thought. Let's just say this is thought. Then something random happened. I randomly think about something. I randomly doing something. This right here is me, but with an established light bulb. This light bulb, make sure we emphasize this is a light bulb. Make sure we emphasize it's the light bulb. That turns into the idea of a business. So if I continue to talk about podcasting, if I continue to show the behind the scenes of podcasting, if I continue to say everything about podcasting to launch, edit, and manage your podcast, why wouldn't I be able to hit my goal of making $100,000 within the next 90 days? It's the consistency that matters. It doesn't matter if you do it well once. It matters if you do it well 894 different times. Why? Because I produce over 894 podcast episodes. And so it's no longer I'm guessing how to podcast. It's literally like, nah, man, I got a blueprint, and this blueprint is a system that we use. Hold on. Let me go back to the screen. This blueprint is the system that we use in order for Failures Knowledge Podcast to be consistent. As it's consistent, people are reaching out saying, I want to get onto the podcast. I want to launch my podcast. I want to learn how to edit my podcast. I want to learn how to manage my podcast. You see, it's the shift that has to happen within me. And when I started to understand I was growing as a business owner, the business started to become the focus. Hold on. Why? Because yes, I'm good at doing podcasting. But if I only focus on the creative, in other words, if I only focus on doing, in other words, if I only focus on the creating side of it, the business side would never be the focus. The sales process, the touch points, the communication, the follow-up, the presentations. Like, you still have to have presentations. Nonetheless, it has to be presentation, follow with email, follow with text messages, follow with content, follow with conversation, follow with in person. It has to be so many different touch points that you are touching your, you are communicating with your customers consistently. And when you communicate with your customers consistently, they are always finding you. They are always seeing you. They are always noticing you. That was the thing that I was trying to figure out with all these big creators. Like, how are they doing it? Like, I'm trying to do it too, but how are y'all doing it? They're doing it because they're consistent. They're not just focused on their creative. Like, they have creative ideas, but they interact consistently. The touch points is the amount of times you communicate with your customers in order for you to build your relationship with your customers. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust. When you have a podcast, you're literally establishing relationships with everybody that comes onto your platform. It's not just about the conversation anymore. The conversation is the starting point of the relationship. Nonetheless, the relationship is built through the podcast. It's built through the platform. And that's when I started to understand that I got it now. I got it now. So you never know where you're going to go. And that's why I want to bring you all on the journey, because being in business, have your own business is really challenging. And when you're trying to do everything by yourself or trying to figure everything out, it's overwhelming. Nonetheless, the information that's there is all over the place, but I want to bring the knowledge that I have or the experience that I'm gaining and like the lessons I've learned. Why? Because I want to educate. I want to establish that relationship. I want to inform everything about podcasting. This is just the part one of the podcast. Like pressing record ain't the challenge. Going live ain't the challenge. It's when I stop recording when the challenge becomes overwhelming. Why? Because everything happens after the recording. So this 90-day challenge is going to be a lot different because I'm literally going to be educating everything that I'm doing, why I did it, why it's working, why it's not working, what I can do better. And my goal is to literally post 8 times a day around how to grow your podcast, to how to grow your audience through education, through content, through all these different things. So that way, like, people can see the journey. The journey is what's so important because you never know where you're going to be. So I want to be the one that pushed the narrative of really achieving your goals. But the amount of work, effort, and consistency the amount of work, effort, and time that goes into this is very doable. Nonetheless, it has to be more. Like, I'm telling myself it has to be more. It has to be more. It has to be more. That's why I'm going live, every single day. That's why I'm about to be posting multiple times a day. That's why I'm about to be reaching out multiple different times a day. I'm about to be sending emails. I'm literally about to be doing everything that I'm talking about because the touch points has to be a consideration in order for my customers, my future customers, to grow a liking to me, to build a relationship with me, to say, hey, man, like, I was on a journey with you. Why? Because that journey is so special. And you never know what this journey is going to lead to. Nonetheless, the journey can lead to something. You just don't know what it is. And so the goal is to have a successful podcast business, making $100,000 within the next 90 days. And I'm going to do the work consistently every single day. This time, I'm not going to stop recording. This time, I'm not going to be overwhelmed. This time, I'm not second guessing the business that I'm doing because now I know the problem that I'm solving. I think my first couple of attempts, I was trying to figure out what problem to solve. I remember this one. I got to share this story. This one is very important. So when I first did my 90-day challenge, I had someone say, hey, I want to participate in the challenge as well. I said, okay, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you for support. We jump on the call. And she was interested in launching her podcast. Nonetheless, I'm like, all right, cool. How can I go about helping her? And my challenge during that time was that she tried to submit her payment, but the payment on the website did not go through. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? She tried 5 different times. 5 different times. I'm like, I hope this is not charging you 5 different times. I hope it's charging you once. And so I looked at it, took a screenshot and said, hey, just to confirm it said error and you're not getting charged for it. That gave me so much anxiety because I didn't want to. I didn't want to make it seem like I'm charging her 5 times for one thing, but it's like, well, I don't know how to fix it. So that itself was like, man, this is overwhelming. It's not working. But what I recognized in that time, it was working. I just had to learn how to fix the payment errors. Now, I hope I don't run into the same issue, but if I do, I'll be able to solve it a lot faster. If I do, I'll be able to solve it a lot faster because I've solved it before and I just reach out to customer service. Why am I telling you this? The 90-day challenge has a lot of uncertainties within it. I have a plan. I'm going to execute the plan. But just because I'm executing the plan doesn't mean I'm going to accomplish the goal. What I'm going to do is do the work. The only thing I can focus on is doing the work. Doing the work will make the focus around growing the podcast business within the next 90 days, make it while making $100,000. And I think I could do it. Today I can. Today, like, I'm not stopping anymore. I'm not doubting myself. So I believe that I can actually do it. And so that's what I wanted to come in about. The 90-day challenge is starting today. We're actually on day number 1. This is day number 1 of the 90-day challenge to grow a podcast production business while helping podcasters grow their audience by helping them launch, edit, and manage their podcast. And the same way we help podcasters grow their audience is the same way we're going to grow our audiences. So this has been great. This has been a phenomenal day 1. So stay tuned because multiple posts are going to be coming out. I'm going to be consistent. I have a system behind everything. I'm going to be reaching out to more people for more podcasts. I'm diving in and I want to bring you all with me to educate everything that I've learned, that I discovered, what's working, what's not working, why it's working, and how to do it more consistently. So this is day 1. Stay tuned to day number 2 because we getting it. We going crazy, like real talk. So I appreciate y'all. Hit that follow button, hit that like. No, hit the follow and subscribe button. And click this video right here to stay tuned for the following video.